Hey guys, Frank here and welcome to another episode of How Did I Shoot This One? Today we have stars and stars are... Yeah, today we are doing something with stars and it's actually this shot. So how do we create a shot like this? Well, I'm not going to run around the bush with this one. I hope that's proper pronunciation of saying I don't know. But this one you can't do very easily. Well, you could do it very easily, by the way, by using a projector. Did you ever think about that? Using a data projector to project images on your model? Yeah, we did a video about that too a while ago. Maybe we're going to do one in the future again. But for today, I'm using a gobo projector or an optical snoot. In my case, the Westcott Lindsay Adler Projector. Now, those are not cheap, but they can give you a lot of creative options. Now, of course, with the Lindsay Adler Projector, you can use it with gobos, but you can also use it with just the slides to create something more rectangular or a triangle. But in this case, I'm using a gobo, and I'm using the stars. Now, the whole idea of an optical snoot or a gobo projector is that you can focus the images that the gobo has printed on them or stanced out. And in this case, we're using stars. Now, you might say, okay, let's make it as sharp as possible, and that's awesome. We tried some of those, and they don't look nice because, well, the stars fall strange on her face, you have a lot of dark areas, and in all essence, it just doesn't look nice. The trick is defocus it very, very slightly. You can still see the stars, it still looks sharp, but now you get a more spread out light quality over the skin of your model. And I'm not going to lie, there will be shadows in these shots that you absolutely don't like. If you want this perfect, there's only one solution. Put your camera on a tripod, put your model on a chair, place the projector exactly right, and then start moving your model inch by inch. Keep it that way, don't breathe, and take the shot. I'm more of a dynamic photographer, so I like to move around my model, try different angles. So when I'm using a projector in this setup, there will be some shadows that are a little bit more ugly. But hey, that's the deal, right? To get more different variety in your shots. Now, just shooting it with the gobo projector was interesting, but it wasn't really floating my boat. I wasn't going like, wow, I love this. So in this case, I'm using a technique that I use a lot with color. Just opening up colors just enough to give it a little bit of a color. Or sorry, opening up shadows just enough to give it a little bit of color. So in this case, I'm using a red gel on a very, very low setting. And that just gives a nice red color in all those shadows. And combining it with the stars, I really like the effect. Now, because the red light is on a platypod, it's on a really low position. And that means that I can also use my camera really close to my model and just shoot it with the platypod almost next to my camera. And that gives me a beautiful lens flare, almost like she's on fire. So by experimenting your own position, but also the position of the red gel, you can create a lot of different moods and, of course, different looks in your shots. Now, of course, you can shoot it from one location, but how about shooting it from a higher angle? You might not like the shot, but sometimes you get something that's really interesting. So keep trying from different angles. Now, overall, it's not a super interesting shot. But I did want to point out the accent lighting with the red gel, because that one for me changes the whole shot between being boring and much more interesting. And it's a technique you can do in almost everything. You can do it with Venetian blinds, use a little bit of red. We talked about that in another video in this series. You can use it for example, just opening up the shadows on the side, or maybe on a building that you're shooting outside. There are so many options to use just a little bit of fill. But for now, let's just look at the behind the scenes video so you can see the projector in action and of course the final results. playing around with a gobo projector or an optical snoot is a lot of fun, but do remember that you are able to focus your light. And another tip, if you are using strobes that use hot lights, make sure you turn off the modeling light, because otherwise, well, you have a big chance that you will damage your projector or your strobe, because there's a lot of heat building up, and although the Lindsay Adler projector from Westcott is well ventilated, or at least it has a lot of openings, it can still be pretty hot. Using the Gigoto strobes, well, we don't have a lot of heat issues, so with the Gigoto strobes I often leave the modeling lights on. But if you're using hot lights, make sure you turn it off. I hope you enjoyed this little video. See you again next time. Bye guys. Oh, I forgot to say, if you like what we do, subscribe to our channel, leave comments below, and of course hit the subscribe button. So every time we go live, or if we upload a new video, you get a message. But most of all, tell other people about our channel so we can grow. Bye guys.